You'll never succeed, you'll never be a success at anything if you ever consider yourself bigger than the front line. Never be bigger than the front line. The last thing Sam told me as he lay on his gurney in his office 3 days before he died, as I walked out, Jim, listen to your employees. The front line will tell you what's wrong with your business. Now, where you sit today, for all you midshipmen, juniors primarily, I just gave you two components that you can't find in a business school, you can't find if you're getting your doctorate. It's something that it's just through 40 years of understanding what makes people lead, what motivates people, what makes them go. You got to have a reason for being, telling a story. You got to tell people where you want to go. And you also have got to understand that the front line is without question the most critical element of anything you've got going on. That's step number 2. Here's step number 3. Point number 3. So when I took this job at Pathmark, and I'll give you a Starbucks example as well, my first day, Rusty, this goes back to your point that we talked about earlier, was at 1:30 in the morning, my first day in Newark, New Jersey. How many people here have been to Newark? Known for 2 things. What are they? Airport? What else? Crime?
Your car's going to get stolen.
Car's going to get stolen. Coach Perry says your car's going to get stolen. Actually, it's known for 2 things, shrimp and green sauce and Grand Theft Auto. So listen to me. It's 1:30 in the morning. I walk into the store on Ferry Street, the Ironbound section. I see a fella back there stocking, putting cereal boxes on there. I come in. I'm the CEO. I'm 3.5 hours into my new job, or an hour and a half into my new job. Hey, how you doing? He goes, what the F is it to you? Now, I'm from Florida. And I thought that was the New York way of saying, hey, Jim, welcome to Pathmark. We're glad you're here. I said, are you crazy? It means a lot to me. I'm your new president. He goes, president of what? I said, president of Pathmark. He goes, shit, they never tell me anything that's going on around here. Well, I asked him what I could do to help. He was short, wanted me to help him throw some boxes. I said, no, I've got more people to see. He said, I'll never see you again. I said, oh, yeah, you will. Go out to my car. We didn't have Blackberries. I couldn't email myself. I had to write it on a Post-it. You guys know what Post-its are? The things you stick on your dash. See Anthony in 2 weeks, which I did. 2 weeks after that, 2 weeks after that. Hold that thought. There is a saying by one of the greatest, and I'm not saying I was a fan of his business style, one of the greatest CEOs in the industry because of the job he did for 20 years, named Jack Welch. He ran General Electric. Unbelievable. You can't argue with the results. He said something that was very important, but as I talked to Coach Perry here, who is the head coach of the Navy Lightweight, he said the same thing to me. At breakfast, Coach Perry told me, my job is not to make the boat go faster, I got to make my guys go faster. Jack Welch said, your job as a leader, now this is important because all of you are going to lead in one form or fashion, but I'll put this in business context. Your job as a leader, Mr. CEO, is not to make the numbers dance. All of you are very young, and you probably don't remember CEOs making the numbers dance in the Enron days, and where some of these companies really got off track, and for reasons I don't even want to get into, they failed. And the CEOs were making the numbers dance. But he says your job as a leader, and I'm telling you your job as a leader, is not to make the numbers dance, it's to make the people dance that make the numbers dance. Coach Perry said my job is to make the rowers passionate about what they're doing to make the boat go faster. Now, Pathmark, I had 30,000 employees, a bankrupt company. Starbucks, I got there with 40,000 employees and I left with 200,000 employees. Right now I have a company that's 3,500 employees. Starbucks was a growth story. Pathmark and the company I have now, they're turnaround stories, and basically there was a chance they wouldn't make it. Nobody liked that I went where I've never been before. That's the 3rd step. Go where you've never been before to talk to the people who can make the numbers dance at all. They wouldn't believe it. The company that I run now had no idea that we're in such dire shape. Unless I talked to the cashiers, the people stocking at midnight, and let them know what the state of the company was, I couldn't get them dancing. And you can't do it by never going where you've never been before. I tell my managers all the time, every minute you spend in your office, you're useless. Get out and see things. Go where you've never been before. That's the third step. Fourth step, I'm burning right through here because I want to go to have time to answer your questions, is this. There is a consulting group named McKinsey, and they're the largest consultant group in the world. They did a survey on what makes companies great. Thousands of employees. It wasn't necessarily saying that your company's great, but what makes a company great. Here are the top 3 reasons why employees think companies are great, starting with number 3. I feel valued. Number 2, I feel stretched. And number 1, rather, that the main reason why people think a company could be great is I am given the chance to make decisions. Okay? The fourth component, honor, courage, and commitment, being a leader, is encouraging risk-taking with the freedom to fail. Now, as I speak to all of you, it's not necessarily a different speech than it is if I'm talking to a business that makes widgets. Encouraging risk-taking doesn't mean let somebody have a chance to ruin the company or put it in a bad light. What encouraging risk-taking means is that you're never bigger in the front line, you've gone where you've never been before, you've told a story about how to get there, and now you're going to give somebody that opportunity to make a decision. Give somebody the opportunity to try it and give them the freedom to fail. I used to talk about encourage risk-taking and General, I can't believe it, Heisman Trophy winner 1945, Pete Dawkins told me that he believes in that. He ran his units that way, but he gave them the freedom to fail. Now, being a leader, please understand, you're not required to make every decision that has to be made. You don't have to. You shouldn't want to. But you got to have enough in you to be confident in others or get them out that you're going to let them take a chance and maybe fail. So, I walk into a store at Pathmark, second day, okay? I see this guy named Nelson. He's the seafood manager, okay? I say, how is business? He goes, terrible. I said, why? He said, because of you and all you're doing to the company. I said, I haven't done anything yet. I've only been here for 2 days. But what do you mean? He says, come over and look at my seafood case. He sets a seafood counter you've seen in the grocery store about 12 feet. I said, it's beautiful. He said, yeah? Why don't you come back tonight because it'll look the same because nothing's selling. He says, your people in New Jersey, he's in Delaware, are telling me what fish to buy, and I know what my customers want. I said, well, give me an example. He goes, rockfish. They're running right now in Maryland. How many could you sell? I could sell 100 pounds a day. Now listen to this. Order them, I say. I am the new CEO. He goes, what? I said, order them. He goes, I can't. I'll get fired. I said, I'm granting you amnesty. But I know what you're doing. You're negotiating with me. Order 200 pounds. He goes, no way. He says, absolutely not. I said, let's go order 300 pounds. And he looks at me and he goes, you sure you're the new president? I said, just do it. We walked over to the phone, heck with headquarters. We knew he could sell rockfish. In 2 days, he sells 300 pounds. He generates $1,200. He became my cult hero, and I took him with me wherever I went to say, there's a new sheriff in town, and if you guys don't ruin the company by buying in 500,000 pounds of rockfish, we're going to let you make decisions. Pathmark turned around on basically that alone, giving people the freedom to fail. Here's my biggest point on encourage risk-taking. So, I've had several leadership jobs in lots of states. I've moved my family and my 2 sons 10 to 11 times in about 20 years. It hasn't been easy. Each one has been for a potential promotion, a president's job, or a CEO's job. Through this time of 20 years, we've had 5 marriage counselors. I'll be honest with you, leadership isn't easy, by the way. We're still together, we're celebrating our 30th coming up. But my wife actually gave me the freedom to fail on every one of these opportunities that was a risk at best because I was leaving one company, same industry, and going to another. Now, there's no better example of what you can achieve by giving an individual, as she gave me, that opportunity to take a risk. And as you lead people from this point on, whether it's in a class, whether it's in a boat, whether it's in, unfortunately, a field of war, you can't do it all yourself. Honor, courage, and commitment means to the troops, but also to the individuals by encouraging risk-taking. 2 more points. So, back at Pathmark or Starbucks, we had to tell a message. At Pathmark, it was the company's going down. We had to send videos out. We were in stores morning, noon, and night. We had a video that said, the company's dead. You know, I was actually in like in a hospital room, and I had a gurney there, and I had this defibrillator machine. I'm trying to jumpstart the company. You know, we had to send that horrible message out. So we sent it out. We sent out all kinds of videos for about 2 or 3 quarters in a row. And I thought I'd canvass the troops to see what they thought. I said, send me your comments, voicemail me, you can email me, tell me what you think. Well, the letters started coming in. And all of them said, for the most part, 90%, Jim, you've ruined our company. Well, the fact of the matter is, the company was already in a state of decline. They just got to know about it. Because nobody had ever, and this is the 5th point, communicated to everybody in the organization. Nobody took the time to tell them that the ship is sinking. As I went to this company just now, a year ago, I again had to put out videos that were nasty, town hall meetings, and let everybody know that the end is near unless we turn it around. By communicating to everybody in the organization in a language that they understand, honors their ability to turn the business around. So get this fact. This is one you never even read at in the newspapers, the financial pages. At Starbucks, we had what was called a preferred supplier program. We paid 5 cents a pound, incremental to what we were paying per pound, if those coffee beans met our specs, okay? High quality, altitude grown. Well, we're doing well with it. We thought we'd test something in Guatemala and Costa Rica where we bought 50% of our coffee. We wanted to put together buying components that paid up to 15 cents a pound. Instead of just looking at quality, we looked at sustainability of the community, of the family, medical facilities available, educational facilities available, shade grown, terracing, wash-through systems that didn't pollute the lakes, 27 components. And we stood tall. We went to the press, all the activists. We said, look how good we are. We're going to pay 15 cents a pound more, and we're going to ensure the quantity of high-quality coffee for years to come. We all patted ourselves on the back. We were really pumped up amongst the team. Guatemala calls a little farmer and said, I represent all the farmers. We don't want to sell you any more coffee. 50%. Now, I left Starbucks a different way than I would have left had Guatemala said, we're not buying, we're not selling you any more coffee. What happened? Communicate to everybody in the organization. Nobody, for the most part, spoke English. We sent the new terms out in English and didn't have the opportunity or the foresight to get our butts out of the office, fly to Guatemala, meet with the farmers in the farmhouses, and take them through the program. So we did just that. Long story short, we never lost the business. Those farmers now are making more than they ever have. You can see the bottom of lakes now because of all the sustainable policies that we've put in place and they've executed on. But communicating to everybody in the organization, whether it's 5 members in your troop, 15 kids, 15 midshipmen in your class,